Imagine waking up perfectly fine. You put your feet on the floor. And then, a sudden, searing pain stops you cold. It is not the usual morning stiffness. It is an alarm bell going off in your body. The pain is often concentrated in the big toe, or maybe it's your knee. It feels hot. It looks red, maybe even purple. It swells so quickly you can barely look at it without wincing. This is the dreaded sudden swelling. It is an acute inflammatory attack. And today, we need to talk about what triggers it. Because experts are now warning that one very specific, very common food, a food many of us have been told is healthy, is actually the #1 secret cause of these crippling sudden joint attacks after the age of 60. This food is a metabolic trap. It is something you may eat every single morning trying to be disciplined. You consume it specifically for its nutritional value. You trust it. And yet, it is actively poisoning your joints with inflammatory crystals. We are not talking about processed foods here. We are not talking about sugary treats or fried snacks. We are talking about something that sits right next to the oats or the fiber cereal in your cupboard, something you choose because you want to live longer and move better. This video is for anyone over 60 who has experienced a sudden, inexplicable flare-up. Maybe you thought it was just arthritis getting worse. Maybe you blamed a stubbed toe you forgot about, but the real enemy is hidden. It is fueling your pain from the inside, and stopping this one food could literally end your sudden joint attacks today. The betrayal of the healthy routine. Most seniors adopt specific eating habits. They do this for excellent reasons. They focus on heart health. They focus on maintaining bone density. They focus on high fiber. So they cut out the obvious culprits. They reduce saturated fats. They eliminate high-sodium canned soups. But when you cut those things out, you often replace them with alternatives. And those alternatives, those very healthy replacements, often hide a dangerous concentrated trigger. This trigger is not fat or sodium. It is a specific compound that, when broken down by your aging metabolism, creates an excess of uric acid. Uric acid is a waste product. Your body is supposed to filter it out through the kidneys. But as we age, kidney function often slows down. Medications can also interfere with this clearance. When that waste product builds up, it doesn't just stay dissolved in your bloodstream. It seeks out the coolest, lowest temperature areas of your body. That is usually your joints, especially the small ones in the feet, and there it crystallizes. Think of it like thousands of microscopic, razor-sharp glass shards forming inside your joints. When you move, these crystals tear the sensitive tissue. Your immune system rushes in to fight this physical tearing. That response is the swelling. That is the intense heat and the sudden, debilitating pain. It is a physical attack being launched inside your body by something you ate yesterday, or maybe even this morning. Why seniors are uniquely vulnerable. Why didn't this food bother you in your 30s or 40s? The key is in the metabolism of this food's hidden trigger compound. This compound, often added to healthy foods for sweetness or structure, forces your body to immediately start processing uric acid. Younger bodies can handle the overload. Their kidneys are robust filters. But after age 60, especially if you have mild insulin resistance or slight kidney decline, that filter system is backed up. The excess waste product starts to accumulate instantly. You might eat this food at 7 a.m. and by 2 a.m. the next morning, your toe is on fire. This is why many people misdiagnose their pain. They believe it must be related to what they ate for dinner, maybe a glass of wine or a piece of chicken. They never look back at that innocent, healthy breakfast or afternoon snack they consumed to boost their fiber intake. The food we are talking about belongs to a category often labeled as a superfood. It is usually recommended for its high potassium or high vitamin content, but those same qualities make it a silent killer for joint health. Let's look at the emotional cost of this confusion. You are active. You are trying to maintain your independence. Then one morning, you are immobilized. You cancel plans. You miss a grandchild's event. You struggle to put on a sock. The pain doesn't just hurt your body. It hurts your freedom. And all because you were following advice about eating clean or choosing the natural option. The hidden ingredient, a focus on purity. The specific issue isn't the whole food itself, but the concentration of its metabolic byproduct. Manufacturers often concentrate this food to make it easier to add to shakes, yogurts, or healthy baked goods. They strip away the water and fiber, leaving behind a highly potent, supercharged inflammatory compound. Think of it like squeezing all the juice out of a large sponge and being left with just the dense, toxic residue. This concentration makes the food convenient, but it turns it into a uric acid bomb. We have identified 4 primary warning signs that this specific food is actively sabotaging your joint health right now. If you experience any of these 4 symptoms regularly, you must investigate your diet immediately. These symptoms go beyond standard arthritis and point directly to a sudden, diet-induced attack. In the next part, we will detail those 4 crucial symptoms you need to look for, and then we will narrow our search to the 3 most common healthy foods that trigger this reaction. We are getting closer to revealing the specific item that needs to be removed from your grocery list forever. Stay with us. Your freedom from sudden joint pain depends on identifying this culprit. We understand the panic that sets in. You wake up and the joint feels hot. It looks red, swollen, and impossibly painful. This is often more than just standard inflammation slowing you down. This is the body's alarm system going haywire. Let's focus on the mechanics of that sudden, agonizing swelling. It is driven by sharp microscopic invaders. These are uric acid crystals. Your body naturally processes compounds called purines. These purines are found in many foods, including healthy ones. The natural byproduct of processing purines is uric acid. Normally, the kidneys efficiently filter this acid out, but as we age, kidney function subtly slows down. We become less effective at flushing out the acid buildup. When the concentration of uric acid in the blood gets too high, it forms sharp, needle-like crystals. These crystals often settle in the joints, most commonly the big toe, the knee, or the ankle. When these crystals scrape against the delicate lining of your joint, your body unleashes a powerful, sudden inflammatory response. That's the swelling you see. That's the pain that feels like bone grinding on glass. For decades, we blamed only red meat, shellfish, and alcohol for these flare-ups. But modern experts are ringing the alarm bells about a different food source entirely. A food source that has exploded in popularity among seniors, specifically because it is advertised as clean and good for the heart. We have been taught to chase vitamins and antioxidants in this product. We believe it helps us stay hydrated and regular. But this common food item floods the body with a specific type of sugar that bypasses the traditional pathways. This type of sugar doesn't just increase calories, it rapidly stimulates the production of uric acid, often faster than any piece of steak ever could. This ingredient is fructose, and the unexpected vehicle delivering a toxic dose of fructose straight to your bloodstream is the common, seemingly innocent fruit juice. Not the whole fruit. The juice. Think about how many oranges or apples it takes to fill 1 glass of juice. 4, 5, sometimes 6 pieces of fruit. When you eat a whole apple, you chew it slowly. The high fiber content slows down the release of sugar into your system. This gives your body time to process the load. When you drink that juice, you are removing the fiber. You're taking all the fructose from 5 pieces of fruit and dumping it directly into your liver in minutes. For seniors, this rapid, concentrated fructose load is incredibly dangerous. Your liver immediately starts metabolizing that fructose. A major byproduct of this rapid metabolism? Uric acid. Studies now show a direct correlation between daily consumption of fruit juice, even 100% natural juice, and a sharp, sudden increase in the risk of severe gout flares. This is the hidden culprit behind that sudden, blinding joint pain so many of you are experiencing. It feels healthy because it says natural on the label. But it is concentrated acid fuel. If you are pouring a glass of orange juice every morning, or relying on apple juice for energy, or grabbing a fortified, healthy fruit smoothie from the store, you are inadvertently setting the stage for your next painful attack. It is the pure, liquid concentration of fructose that is the problem, not the fruit itself. Why are experts stressing this now? Because many seniors have smartly cut back on soda and packaged sweets. But they replaced them with massive quantities of concentrated juices and highly sweetened immune-boosting drinks, thinking they were making the best choice. They swapped one type of high-fructose liquid sugar for another, and the results are agonizing. The swelling comes on suddenly because the fructose hits the system so quickly. It can take less than 24 hours after a significant juice consumption for those uric acid levels to spike high enough to trigger an acute attack. If you are waking up with a joint that is suddenly too hot to touch, the first place you need to look is not the dinner plate from 3 days ago, but the glass you drank yesterday afternoon. The question now is, what do we do about it? How do we quench our thirst, get the necessary hydration, and still protect our joints from the fructose ambush? In Part 3, we will break down the 3 most effective and simple replacements for juice. We will show you exactly what to drink instead, and the single most important habit you need to adopt to clear excess uric acid from your body starting today. We must stop wasting time. The crisis point, that sudden blinding pain that locks your joint up, is usually a reaction to a chemical imbalance that is built up over just a few hours, not over weeks. We have ruled out the obvious sugar bombs. We ruled out heavy red meat. We even ruled out most of the healthy legumes that are often unfairly blamed. The food hiding in plain sight, the one millions of seniors eat religiously for their heart health and their brain, is canned oily fish. Specifically, we are talking about tuna, mackerel, sardines, and anchovies, especially when consumed regularly 4 or more times a week. I know this sounds completely wrong. For years, doctors told you that these fish were mandatory for health, for those vital omega-3s, and they were correct. These fish are incredibly dense with nutrients your body needs. But here is the critical warning that new research is demanding we focus on. These same species of small, oily fish are chemical powerhouses. They contain an incredibly high concentration of compounds called purines. This is the secret key to the sudden swelling. Think of your body like a small, highly efficient factory. When you eat food, the factory breaks it down to harvest energy and nutrients. Purines are simply the natural waste products of protein digestion. Your kidneys are the sanitation crew. They are responsible for sweeping these purines out, converting them into uric acid, and flushing them away safely through urine. If your factory runs smoothly and your kidneys are working perfectly, there is no problem. But as we age past 60, our kidney function often becomes a little slower, a little less efficient at the large volume work. It can handle a normal load without trouble, but it absolutely cannot handle a massive sustained surge. When you eat a high purine meal, like a large portion of canned sardines or a triple-decker tuna salad sandwich, your body suddenly produces an excessive, overwhelming amount of uric acid. Your kidneys simply cannot keep up with the chemical rush. That excess uric acid backs up into your bloodstream. It has nowhere else to go. This backup is the moment of crisis, and the painful swelling is the physical result. The acid begins to crystallize. Imagine tiny, sharp, needle-like shards of salt forming inside your body. These crystals are microscopic, but they are incredibly abrasive. They lodge themselves most often in the cooler, peripheral joints, like the big toe, the ankle, or the knee. This painful lodging is the definition of a sudden, debilitating inflammatory attack. It is often diagnosed as acute gout, but it sometimes presents simply as a severe, unexpected arthritis flare that happens overnight. The pain is not mild stiffness, it is crippling, instant swelling, intense heat and tenderness that comes on without warning, often waking you up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So why is this happening now, when you ate tuna safely for decades? There are 3 amplifying factors at play in the senior diet. First is consistency. You might have shifted from eating fish once a week to relying on a daily tuna or salmon sandwich for a quick, healthy protein boost. That daily load is too much for aging kidneys. Second is concentration. Canned and dried fish products often have a slightly higher concentration of these purines than fresh, lightly cooked fillets. They are highly condensed protein bombs. Third, and most critically, is dehydration. Seniors are often chronically and subtly dehydrated without realizing it. If you don't drink enough water throughout the day, those kidneys cannot dilute the uric acid adequately. The fluid is too thick, and crystallization becomes far more likely. Think about your recent routine. Did you rely on a large, cheap can of tuna or mackerel straight out of the fridge for a quick protein boost every single lunchtime? If your joint suddenly seize up, this specific dietary pattern is often the hidden, undeniable culprit. You do not have to give up healthy protein, but you must immediately respect the purine limit. This is not about stopping all fish. It is about strategic swapping and control. Here is your immediate action plan to stabilize the joints today. Action Step 1. Immediate reduction. Cut your consumption of high purine fish, tuna, sardines, mackerel, down to no more than 1 small serving per week. You must give your kidneys time to catch up and clear the backlog. Action Step 2. The low purine swap. Replace those high purine fish staples with low purine alternatives. Look for fresh salmon fillets, flounder, or tilapia. These still provide excellent healthy fats and high-quality protein without delivering that massive sudden uric acid surge. Action Step 3. Hydrate strategically. Every time you eat a protein-heavy meal, even a low purine one, commit to drinking a full 12-ounce glass of pure water immediately afterward. You are actively assisting your kidneys to flush the purine waste before it can settle and crystallize in your toes or knees. We need to stabilize your joints now by controlling the input. But stabilization is only half the battle when you are in pain. In the next crucial step, we look at what happens after. The purines have been ingested and the crystals have begun to form. We will show you the simple, specific home solution that helps your body break down and dissolve these painful crystals once they have lodged themselves. And we will look at the surprising role certain inexpensive kitchen spices play in regulating uric acid levels naturally, keeping your internal sanitation system running cleanly for the long term. Stay with us. Your path to clear, pain-free mobility is coming up next. Remember that agonizing sudden pain, the one that hits overnight, turning your foot or hand into a throbbing red balloon? We have spent 3 segments tracing its source. We looked past the usual suspects. We narrowed down the category to the foods we truly believe are helping us thrive. Now, we must face the reality. We uncovered a food item that has been aggressively marketed as the gold standard of senior health and vitality. This food is celebrated in smoothies, salads, and side dishes everywhere. But for those of us struggling with joint sensitivity, kidney load, or uric acid issues, this specific food can act like pure gasoline on a hidden fire. It introduces inflammation triggers that the aging body cannot process quickly enough. The food that experts now warn may secretly cause that sudden, painful swelling is the frequent excessive consumption of raw spinach and its high oxalate cousins like Swiss chard and rhubarb. Yes, spinach. The green leaf we were taught was packed with iron and strength. How can a simple green leaf cause such sudden agony? It comes down to 2 specific compounds present in these foods, often overlooked by those focusing only on vitamin counts, purines, and oxalates. When you eat massive amounts of spinach, a daily smoothie, a huge dinner salad, repeated servings, you are overloading your system with these compounds. Let's talk about oxalates first. Oxalates are natural organic acids found in many plants. When they are digested, they bind with minerals like calcium. If you have too many oxalates and not enough fluids, they begin to form tiny crystals. Think of these oxalate crystals like microscopic, sharp pebbles. They don't just stay in your gut. They travel through your system and can deposit themselves in soft tissues and, critically, in your joints. For some people, this sudden spike in crystal formation is what triggers that acute, shocking swelling. It's like sandpaper being rubbed inside your joints. This process exacerbates conditions like arthritis and can absolutely ignite a gout flare, even if your uric acid levels weren't dangerously high previously. Then we consider purines. While spinach is not as high in purines as organ meats, it is categorized as a moderate to high purine vegetable. For seniors already struggling with filtering uric acid through the kidneys, which is common as we age, adding a high load of vegetable purines daily pushes the system past its breaking point. It's the cumulative effect. The oxalates cause localized crystal irritation, and the purines flood the body with the precursors for uric acid, leading to that signature, sudden joint explosion. The worst offender is raw spinach consumed in massive daily quantities. Think about the trend of adding 2 huge handfuls of raw spinach to your morning smoothie, or eating a giant spinach salad for lunch every single day. That raw overload is difficult for an aging digestive system to manage. You were trying to be healthy, but your good intentions were creating a silent, crystalline blockade inside your joints. The good news is that you do not have to banish spinach from your life forever. You simply need to change how you eat it. This is a lesson in balance and preparation. The key to reducing the oxalate and purine load is simple: heat and portion control. First, never consume huge raw portions if you are susceptible to joint pain or have a family history of gout or kidney stones. Limit those large raw spinach salads to a rare treat. Second, embrace cooking your greens. Boiling, steaming, or sautéing spinach significantly reduces the concentration of oxalates. When you boil spinach, those problematic compounds leach out into the cooking water. Do not consume that water. Drain the spinach thoroughly and then proceed with your meal. This is the oldest, simplest health trick for preparing high oxalate greens. Third, adjust your portion size. Instead of 2 cups of raw spinach in your smoothie, switch to half a cup of lightly steamed spinach. This adjustment maintains the high vitamin profile without the inflammatory overload. You can also substitute high oxalate greens with safer options like watercress, arugula, or kale, which are much lower in those problematic crystals. Changing this one habit, rethinking the way you consume that seemingly innocent green leaf, can provide immediate relief from those sudden sharp joint attacks. The truth is, many of the healthy habits we adopted in our 40s and 50s need to be modified now that our filtration and processing systems are different. This shift in approach is not about deprivation. It is about smarter consumption tailored to the senior body. It is about moving from generalized health advice to personalized well-being. Now that we have identified the hidden food culprit and the specific mechanism of sudden swelling, we need to talk about what makes some people more susceptible than others. Why does your neighbor drink 3 spinach smoothies a day without issue, while you wake up crippled after one? It comes down to a crucial internal factor: the health of your gut microbiome and its ability to process oxalates before they enter your bloodstream. In our next segment, we will delve into the unexpected link between your gut flora and chronic joint pain, and reveal the simple, overlooked dietary component that can help your body safely flush out these damaging crystals and keep your joints moving freely.